This podcast exists because of the team at CASCM. At CASCM, we make content creation enjoyable. We are on a mission to help leaders create content that will improve lives, content to be proud of, content that fosters community. We know through firsthand experience how content brings people together, and we love helping make that happen. We produce podcasts, short form videos, blog posts, and other written works, while also providing support in website development, social media management, and strategic planning. And we would be excited to help you. Visit CASCM.com to learn more, or feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn or Twitter. Storytelling is obviously sharing of content. I mean, you're obviously out here, you're getting on podcasts. Dan was on the podcast in the past. We've written an article about you guys in the past that uses an example because you mentioned the thing about time and saving time. It's like, if I need to aerate my lawn, I don't want to aerate my lawn. I'm going to hire someone to aerate my lawn because I have other things that I want to do with my family or myself, whatever that might be. So there's importance there. But sharing those stories, telling that type of thing about time is obviously important to you. You go to your website, it's very clear you guys spend a lot of time on your marketing with you guys being out in public. I know you guys have attended entrepreneur events and really just making sure that people understand the 2U story. Why do you see that as so important? Is it your background in marketing? Is it because you have to get out there? Is it because of your board? Or what is it with you guys and making sure you have a great brand that's out there?
I mean, I think sales and marketing are everything. I mean, I'm more of an ops finance person, but even then I recognize without the customers, without the sales, you don't have operations, you don't have finance, you have nothing else. And so early on, we got advice that storytelling if you're not good at that, you could have the best product in the world, it's not going to matter. But so Dan and I have always tried to be intentional about getting that story out there and also selling what we're really selling. At the end of the day, it's not clean clothes. It's certainly the mechanism we use to deliver what we're really selling, but it is time back. It's those memories with family. It's going on that trip that you wanted to go on and not have to have the stress when you come back, or it's the side project or passion you're pursuing that chores could be eating into. It's the same reason you mentioned aerating your lawn. And we want to get that out there. Is important.
Yeah. What's the future with content as it relates to 2U Laundry?
Yeah. So right now we're waiting and watching and seeing, especially with us rebuilding right now. So a lot of it's just been organic, which has been surprising to me how much is still happening, how many new signups are still coming in with basically zero marketing spend, which shows there's some viral coefficient that we probably were undervaluing earlier on and not playing on enough. But right now it's, how do we get franchises out there? Because we want those to grow out in front of us. We want to be in Charlotte, Nashville, Raleigh, and then layer 2U on top. So a lot of the content's becoming more focused on, hey, your 401k is doing great, but the economies or the job market's kind of in question. The world's a little bit in question. Now's the time to go start your own thing. You've wanted to be entrepreneurial, but you're not really sure how. Hey, why don't you get in bed with someone like us who's just setting out to build something big, and we can show you that shortcut and flatten that learning curve for you as you want to go out and pursue that.
For sure. Yeah. You've been hearing a lot about it, that franchisee work at a larger company. There's all these different opportunities as opposed to just building something from scratch. How are they coming across you? Is it someone like Jeff that you had talked about earlier? Is it social media? Is it just awareness? You're like, wow, what is this company doing? And you're out in front of these organizations. How are they coming across you guys?
Yeah. So from the franchising side, it's going to be broker networks. So, life coaches that go represent people in the job market that are either got laid off or thinking about leaving. That's one angle. We have a Facebook and digital marketing campaign that surprisingly a lot of franchisors don't do. Hopefully not many are listening right now and start tapping into this.
Yeah, right.
But you can get the cheapest leads. It's like kind of Moneyball, right? There's these white spaces that people aren't playing in, and you can get the same quality leads for a tenth of the cost. And we've already seen good evidence of that already being the case compared to benchmarks we've seen from other franchisors that have shared information with us. So there's a digital content strategy. There's a in-person true sales process to it. And I think referrals and just tapping into our network has always been big to us. We have the Techstars network, the Endeavor network, the Charlotte, Atlanta, just ecosystem network, our investor network. And we already have 80 or so leads just from that are all kind of chomping at the bit to get into this. It's a self-absentee model that kicks off 100, 150K plus a year in cash flow with really 10 hours of work a week or so.
Wow.
A lot of people are excited about that.
Yeah. Well, you bring up the point about social media, and people are always assuming they're kind of like on the outside looking at Facebook. Well, I don't want to waste time with Facebook, but not realizing what an opportunity it is. And also the costs have been driven down during COVID because less people are spending on it. People that were just in on a daily basis aren't doing it. It's interesting. In our neighborhood, we have a Facebook group. And when I talked about the dryer being broken, what I came to find out is people were looking at these dryer vent companies. If you blow your dryer vent out, you fix your dryer a little bit. And people in the neighborhood were saying, well, I need that, or I need that, and I need that. There's like 100 people needed it. We had already done it, but I'm still watching. They're still talking about it. This dryer vent company is going to get 100 customers
And it's all based on what a Facebook group. There's absolutely no marketing. What this person probably did is they did a little bit of good work inside of Facebook. Their name gets mentioned. It's no different than when 2U Laundry shows up. You guys got the blue bag sitting outside the house, or you tell your neighbor like, wow, you got to use this. You got to go 2U Laundry. Have you seen that play itself out on social media, be it on Facebook or probably Instagram as well? Where like, oh, I found out about you because of Facebook. And obviously social media is a big deal, but was it that big of a deal for 2U Laundry?
It was huge. I mean, our first 600 customers came from the exact way you just talked about. I mean, we would post, in Facebook groups and people would catch on to it. But then as soon as customers, real customers, would come in, it wasn't us kind of like self-promoting, like, hey guys, check this out. We'd have real customers use it, tell us how it saved their week, it alleviated XYZ pain point. You have a referral code. I need everyone to know about this. We'd create one for them. They'd go post in mom Facebook groups, workout Facebook groups. And we would go in there and we just watch. And same thing you just mentioned, hundreds of comments of, oh my God, I'm doing 10 hours a week. I'm doing 5 hours a week of laundry. This would be a lifesaver. And then we just saw signups through the roof. And what did we spend on that? A referral code for one person.
Yeah. The one person that wants to talk, right? Yeah.
It's the best. Nextdoor, same thing. Nextdoor is blown up for us. And so some of that kind of organic growth loops we try to play into as well. Getting our customers to become ambassadors for us has been super effective.
And you've seen, obviously, because you're in this entrepreneurial world, you've seen other people not taking advantage of it because you've referenced that a couple of times. You're like, man, I hope other people aren't listening to this because they're going to start getting these ideas. But it's right, because so many people, they're not going there, right? They're thinking like that's not going to be a place. And obviously you'd have advice. If they were listening, you're obviously a good person. You're going to say, hey, this is what you think you should do this. And is that your advice to a lot of companies is just don't get lost in what you thought for so long and actually just test it out?
100%. I mean, you never know when a certain thing is going to work or when it's not going to work. And early on, when we were resource strapped and constrained, it was what free options are there? And posting in Facebook groups is free. And it was arguably the most effective thing. It continues to be the most effective, even when there is a $10K a month Facebook budget or whatever it is. It still doesn't beat that organic word of mouth. It's true, it's genuine, it's cheap. I mean, it checks all the boxes, but you still have to keep testing new stuff because it's always evolving and always changing. And
yeah,
people are saturating in certain channels, and you got to find the next new one that isn't.
In case you haven't noticed, we love podcasts. In fact, we love building podcasts, everything from development to production. Because of all that, we're building a one-of-a-kind podcast network. If you have a podcast or looking to launch a new podcast, then we should talk. You can message me on Twitter at Eric_Kaz or hit us up any way that works for you. Let's talk about your podcast joining this one-of-a-kind podcast network.